Okay, give that a shot. There we go. That's all. We got you.
That's why I kept getting on and off. I couldn't hear. I didn't know what I was doing wrong.
Somebody else controlled your life.
So a quick little introduction about yourself. Interest in finding out what this committee's about?
Very much, yeah. My name is Robert Smith. I'm a recent resident. I've lived in Finger Lakes since I retired about 16 years, but I just moved to Canandaigua last October. I was a school superintendent for 25 years in Elba, New York, and a teacher before that in New York and then in Indiana. My wife and I have 2 kids, both adults, both with children, and we have grandchildren. So that's a short summary.
Excellent. We're glad to have you and glad you can join us. And thank you. And one other side note, Karen is the bridge. We'll refer to her as the bridge because she's the bridge from the Citizens Implementation Committee, which was created 2009. Was it 12? So that was around for a long time and was really the precursor to get citizen involvement in looking at things that the town is doing in plans, in projects, in procedures, and giving input. And then that committee was there for about 10 years, 10, 12 years. And this is an exciting chance to take the legacy, build on the legacy of that and all the amazing things that the CIC did, because they did fantastic things for the town, and build on that legacy and bring, kind of new ideas, new passions, new interests, and a new energy, and take it, we'll see where it goes. And the best thing about this is there's no set, I still do a small little amount each day, middle school kids for 26 years. And, you never know what's going to bring. So that's kind of what this committee is. There's so much out there that we can do and so many opportunities. And one other thing, Kim does the town newsletter for, and she helps put that together, and she's amazing at that. She's like a wizard with that. So what I did want to hand out real quick, you have some information, and this is a document that Karen had put together and with ideas and thoughts about the committee and what it can do. I just wanted to hand you guys the resolution that the town board adopted earlier this year, in January of this year. And this resolution is what created this committee. And the reason I want to give this out is it gives a little bit of the charge. It gives some more of the charge, and also the makeup of the committee is approved by the town board. So this committee was approved by the town board by resolution number 49 of 2024. And as you can see, as far as membership, if you go down there under the mission statement, the max, and this was, as a maximum of 7 voting members, which doesn't mean we're capped off at 7, which means you would have 7 members who are voting, and you would have other members who help fill other needs, be part of projects, be part of committees, but it's capped off at 7 to keep it manageable. And the next lines are goals. A member from the Canandaigua Uptown BID, which is a business improvement district, and that was changed in there to read a taxpayer. So you'd have a member, somebody as part of the BID who owns a business or has involvement in Uptown, because one of the goals of this committee is to focus on that Uptown area and growth and telling the story. And one member, ideally a voting member, to have a youth member, because I believe wholeheartedly that the more we get our youth involved and the more we get our kids involved in things like this, the better we will be. So I'm hoping for that. The ex officio town board member, which is myself, the ex officio staff member, which is Sue. So we don't vote. We're just here. I'm here, and Sue's here to make sure things work and make sure that I do what I'm supposed to do.
Great job.
Yeah, and I'm here because I'm really excited about where this can go and what we can do and bring for the town. So we will talk and info, but we don't vote. When it comes down to voting, it'll be the committee members. Anybody who's interested in continuing on, and that's kind of what I wanted to have as a discussion tonight, is what what the committee will be. And then people who are interested, let's say there were 12 people who are interested, there would be that discussion and they'd meet with the town board members and, you know, informally, and town board members would then ultimately make that decision for those first voting members. It's a 2-year term and a 1-year term. So at the beginning, kind of like the first Congress, you'll have a half and half, so 2 and a 1. And then after that, it will always be 2 years appointed, so we don't lose all our membership in 1 year if people serve 1 term and then go. There will be a chair to chair the committee. And that's as far as the housekeeping, and as far as the structure, that's kind of what the structure will be. So I just wanted to open up the floor to any thoughts, any comments, any ideas, any questions about what the heck this is, why we're doing it, what might I be getting myself into as part of this. So go.
I just have
Nathan.
maybe one. What are we doing that nobody else is doing? It's easiest way I can phrase the question. You know, almost the title itself seems to indicate that it's just the reproduction of the town committee.
Mhm.
The town board,
Yeah, you know, so,
the previous committee,
so that's really, do you have the definite, or you have the experience in your head
Mhm.
of this previous committee?
Mhm.
and they had a specific charter, and they were formed after a, what did they do when they rewrote the
Comprehensive plan.
comprehensive plan? They updated the comprehensive plan. 2010 or 11, somewhere around
Yeah.
that timeframe. So they had a specific charter to push forward the goals of the comprehensive plan. So each year they would, with the town board, the town board would choose 5 goals for the year. And that committee would work on putting together a team, if it needed a team to develop it. Like affordable housing 1 year was a goal, and they put together an affordable housing team. 1 year there was a tree team, there was a conservation easement team that became the open space committee. So they put together teams. Sometimes those teams turned out to be a committee in themselves because there was enough stuff that they could do. Sometimes they achieved the goal that they had to work on, and it became part of whatever
Town code and what the town does.
or
Yep.
whatever. And if you go in the back room, there's all these maps that are really a result of that committee. And they're pretty comprehensive. There's an open space map, there is a scenic view map, there is like a zoning map, and you can look at those maps and you can tell, well, this is forested land, or this is a scenic view land, or this is property that affects the water of Canandaigua Lake. So things like that, they put all those things together. They did a significant amount of work, but it got to the point where it was a difficult group to manage. We got old.
Well, not experienced, and it's always nice to have that fresh restart,
Yeah, you said that a few
you know,
times.
yeah. So it's nice to have that, and you know, just the new voices, but the things the committee did were fantastic. But you're right, it was kind of, anything new was difficult.
Yeah.
Because we've never done it that way, so why would we do it that way now?
Exactly.
So there were some of that feeling, so this is the opportunity to bring in some of the new,
Okay.
you know, it's to bring in some of that new.
So that we would end up, I don't want to, so the concern is, how much work am I gonna have to do?
Well,
All you guys are used to doing a lot of this work.
less than 40 hours a week, number one. Number one, so less than 40. So basically, this will be yeah. You get your own parking spot out there.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I noticed
As
it.
long as
Really
somebody
hard to
ever
get
came
one.
And we might have snacks, but the commitment up front would be one one day a month for me. I imagine we'd meet a day, would meet one meeting a month. That would be pretty much the standard, would be that one meeting a month.
Right.
And if we were to branch off and create other, like, looking at the goals,
Yeah, I'll give you one.
huh?
I said, I'll give you one.
Give me one.
That's right away. It's
Give me a goal.
It's the one right away that, to make a card. What did I do? Some of them make no.
Of the welcome packet, the
Yeah,
postcard.
right.
Right,
You know, to me, that's either, you could just hire somebody to do that.
Well, what-
Or somebody trying to get us to do their work.
No,
Mhm.
what
I don't mind doing that,
right,
but I'm just,
what our goal would be to determine what goes in that welcome pack. Not
Okay.
do,
Right.
not do the welcome.
So it would
pack.
be-
that's what I was
right.
thinking
No.
this kind of committee would be.
No,
and
it's
should
a
be.
committee to put together the pieces, not do the piecework.
right.
Okay.
Some more vision
Good.
than.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
visionary.
Yeah,
It's vision.
That's what I feel that,
Yeah.
that kind of a thing should be.
So it would be,
Sure.
right, it would be, these are some things that we found and again, the committee makes recommendations to the board. And would say, and some things don't even have to go to that level of all the way up to that board. It could be, hey, we want to create, we want new, 2 new residents fairly, over the time we've got in the west there that I live a 30-second walk from the house I grew up in, but anyway, so I can't claim to be a new resident. So I have no idea what a new resident might want.
Yeah.
And you can bring that in and say, wouldn't it be nice if I knew this, if I knew this, if I knew this? Here are some resources, here's some other information, but compile that. Find community businesses and then make that recommendation, we decide, and then that gets fed up to the board or to staff and it says, here's a recommendation of the CAP to provide this welcome packet to residents.
Great, thanks.
So that type of thing. So yeah, it's not,
I'm happy, Tim.
yeah. So it's not, and again, too, I mean, staff is, we don't have a huge staff at the town. As anybody
People wear a
knows,
lot of hats.
people do a lot of different things and nobody just does one thing.
Yeah.
So, some of these things it is because in order to, I mean, I look at the CIC, the amount of work that committee did that would have been staff work was tremendous. And that can continue, but then just the ideas and the thinking and the collaboration.
Sure, I
It's,
was
it's
just-
that collaboration
no,
part.
I was just trying to clarify.
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah.
So,
But there's always a staff
Oh,
member
okay.
on a town connected.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to escape work.
Barbara, okay. So Barbara, you just kind of, I want to put you on the spot since you just popped in. You want to go introduce yourself really quick? Tell us a little bit about yourself. If you go ahead and unmute.
It's not me.
Personally, that's what I
Or
try to avoid.
Maybe find a, I know, there
Okay,
you go.
I didn't know I was going to be speaking.
Oh, that's sorry. You can,
I'm sorry, it took me a while to get on this Zoom meeting.
that's okay.
Yes, I'm a resident. My name's Barbara Willett. I'm a resident of the town and just interested when I receive the email, I get the, town emails that come out and I thought, well, it might be interesting to see what goes on in the town and how these decisions are made. And I don't know what you were specifically looking for this advisory committee. So I'm on the Zoom meeting to, just see what your expectations were.
Okay. Perfect. So it's nice to have you and go ahead and listen away. If you want to interject at all, feel free, but you don't have to.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Sure, that's great.
All right. Any other thoughts or comments or questions about the committee and what it would be?
So I just want to let you all know, though, that the staff is very talented here. And if we come up with an idea that, for example, the uptown area. Now, I have to wonder if all of you know what we mean by uptown area.
That was gonna be my question. I was gonna say, you know, there's good, some of us gonna have a big
There'll
learning
be a
curve,
learning
'cause
curve,
I don't
exactly.
know what
And,
that
and you
means.
see, that's
so,
the
yeah.
other thing, you and I will learn from some of the things that we put together for other people.
Right,
Because I don't know everything, I know very little about town code, things like that, sometimes gets in the way of other issues. But putting together something to promote uptown, which is the part of the town north of the city limits, where the car dealerships and the car washes are.
Yeah, Mayflowers.
And
Everything north of North Street.
and there,
Yeah.
and there's a specific type of zoning that applies to that part of town. And they have a business improvement.
Business Improvement District.
So we would be talking to them and get what they want to accomplish, and we all have ideas on how to do things. I'm sure you do, I know I have a lot of ideas, and we all do. And that's what it's for, to get input from different places throughout the community on how to approach an area of interest. So there's those things. There's also things like I advocate for having some educational events at and Jared does too, at the town dump. Does everybody know what the transfer station is? We all use it.
Oh, yeah.
It's the best place in the world. to get-
Absolutely.
get the proof on
Too
what's
bad
going
it's not a
on.
real dump, then you could go through the.
Yeah.
But in the past, there have been certain events, for lack of a better word, educational events, you know, like giving out trees on Arbor Day, and what else, they did
we did an environmental fair there.
Mhm.
so I think it'd be great to have not maybe once a quarter, maybe twice a year, have something there, invite people, have coffee and donuts, that's part of the budget, you like the budget.
We will, so the nice thing is, because I have control over the budget, then yes, there will be a budget. And that will be, you know, in there for next year to function.
Because that brings people together.
Yeah.
And that's what this is all about, you know, we're such a wonderful community, and I don't say we should be all like-minded, but we should be when it comes to our community. We should want our community to thrive and be better and grow for our children and our grandchildren. You know.
Well, I participated in the tree seedling giveaway just last week or whenever it was on a Saturday. The unfortunate thing about that is that only people that went to the transfer station on Saturday were able to get trees unless they read about it.
Exactly, so.
So, and we
would
gave
have-
them all
We
away,
would have to think of a way to
Right,
get
to-
word out about it.
right?
But
yeah.
that's
And the
happening.
newsletter is a perfect
Mhm.
vehicle for that,
And but
but,
there's also,
but how many people read the newsletter that is put out? Now, I'm the welcome person, and I'm in our HOA. And what I did several years ago, when a new family moved in, they didn't know anybody in the area, and it was winter, and she was like 10 months pregnant with number 3.
Oh, wow.
And so I told her, I said, well, I'll put some things together, some places, things to do, you know, whatever. And so now I use that every time, I'm still the welcome person, I use that every time I welcome somebody in our community, in our HOA.
so you'll be
So-
invaluable
Yeah.
with a new resident welcome something.
Well, I didn't
Thanks.
say I'd be one of these 7 people though.
Right.
With every-
Well, I mean,
Unfortunately, there's not that many people here.
With
Yeah.
with everything that I have going on
1,
now.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 2 online, so we're pretty close, Donna.
I mean, I'd be happy to share my list, because it wasn't just things to do for places in the town of Canandaigua. It was like, I belong to a CSA, Community Supported Agriculture. So I would share where I was a CSA member, but also other farm markets to go to, ice cream places to go to, mention some of the stores on Main Street in the city, and just all sorts of different things. But at the top of the list now anyway, I didn't do it initially, I do have the town's website.
And that.
For people
and-
to
and
go
see, and
out.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Whether they do that or not and go out and, you know, add themselves to the town email list, I have no idea, but the thought is there.
It's just shy of 2,000.
Oh, 2000.
Yeah.
Does the town have a
Wow.
chamber of commerce?
Ontario County has one.
But the town does.
The town does not. That, I don't see that work. I mean, what they've tried, used it, you have the city of Canandaigua Chamber before. Victor had one, farming, you know, municipalities had one. Now,
Farmington's not part of it.
Farmington's, yeah,
They have a separate. chamber.
Farmington does, I think Manchester has a separate one. So Canandaigua's it's on, and, you know, it's on chamber, so it's kind of those other Ontario County municipalities, those cities and towns that are in that. So we
Because I'm
don't,
Just thinking in terms of like what Donna does for our community.
yeah,
If we had something that was specific to the town of Canandaigua, now it's kind of disjointed in some respect because most of the heavy business for the town of Canandaigua is north of Mill Street.
right,
Anything that's along 5 and 20 here is pretty much in the city.
yeah,
So it's kind of hard to, but maybe we could, you know, come together with the city of Canandaigua to have a Canandaigua Chamber of Commerce that would encompass both places,
Mhm.
because, and to promote a business in both the communities. Because Ontario County is a big location.
yeah. So there is, and you know, there is a development corp, an LDC. That we just had that, you know, we just met about that today. There's an LDC that incorporates the city and the town. And there are members from the city and the town, and they work with that, and the Chamber of Commerce comes to that and is represented. But the goal of that committee is growth and business development and economic development within the city and the town of Canandaigua combined. So it's, that kind of fits that mold. I mean, it's not exactly a chamber, but it fits that mold of it's the, you know, LDC, as we call it. But you know, and that's a great idea to have something that maybe it's a reach out to them and incorporating some of the ideas and things with them too.
Because, you know, though, today with the economic environment the way it is, small businesses are really suffering.
Yeah,
And anything we can do to promote the small business so people take advantage of the local operations would be great.
mhm. So on that, that kind of leads into the next with some of the charge, the committee charge that we have as approved by the board. You know, I just wanted to hit some of these because these will kind of hit on the topics that one of the things that you just mentioned, Rich.
Mhm.
So promote the town of Canandaigua and tell our story through improved frequent communication. That might be writing an article, that might be highlighting an event, that might be putting things in the newspaper. We are in the process, we're in the very early stages of the process of looking at getting a town of Canandaigua, it would be like a town of Canandaigua app that you can put on your phone, and then you could sign up for notifications, push notifications, information. You can sign up for as much as or as little as you want. But you know, you download it on your phone, you'd be like, I want highway notifications and I want parks notifications and town board meetings or something. And then whenever one of those is coming up, you'd get a push notification on your phone. And this committee could help with some of the work in the some of the discussion and the implementation around that. What are some ideas? How can we promote it? How can we get people to download the app and put that on their phone? Promote the uptown area as an economic development hub, and you hit the nail right on the head. If you want to shop in the town of Canandaigua, you can go to Rose Park and you can go to Raymore Flanagan Plaza on the south end of town. It's Rose Park and Raymore Flanagan, that's about it.
And Walmart.
Walmart's in Hopewell.
Hopewell, forgot.
Yeah, wrong side of the road.
No.
So you can go to Charlie's, you can go to the car wash, you know, in that little
Yeah.
area right there. And
How about Burndale?
Aldi and Tops, nope, Hopewell.
That's in Hopewell?
Hopewell,
Yeah.
yep. So
But there is a,
Hopewell's changing.
I know, I go to the.
Yeah, so, but then uptown is where everything else is. And where the potential for that growth is. We could have, within the next 5 years, I mean, it's very early right now, but you could have that whole area, the plans for that area are tremendous as far as the focused growth that it will bring, because that's an area that we've said, okay, that's where we want to focus the growth. It's near 332. It's near, it's closer to the thruway. It's got all of that. So there could be a significant boost in housing in all residential, from single family to apartments, but also businesses in the front. So there could be that increase in business. But again, it's, it's that area. It's, Finger Lakes Barbecue, it's Tom Walls, it's Mayflowers. Those are the business, that's this uptown area. That's the next place for growth.
Would they decide any type of look, physical look of the area, where they're gonna have secondary roads that, so you're not turning right off of 332 into the establishments, but you have a secondary road? Because you go down south, like
Right.
North Carolina, South Carolina, where they have their major roads that go from point A to point B, and then behind a tree barrier or whatever, it might be 25, 50 feet of trees. Then you have a secondary road that actually feeds these plazas, and that way it maintains a nice drive.
Well, any of those would have that. They would all automatically be on a secondary road, because the majority of that is not on 332. The majority of that is off. If you go kind of down Fire Hall Lane and around Blue Heron Park, it's that area there. So that kind of already by default is a secondary road. So you're already changing the look of the area. And then plus whatever roads they put in the area where they're gonna be growing.
See,
And
my big concern is, I've expressed this at one point or another, in other meetings, is that where we were in New Jersey, Route 10, I don't know if anybody's familiar with it. Route 10 in the Hanover area, and when we moved down there in the early 70s,
You
it
lived
was
in
pretty much
Hamilton,
of
New
a
Jersey?
barren area. Now,
Hanover.
it is business after business after business after business. Route 10 has become a massive nightmare on traffic, because there's no secondary roads, like parallel secondary roads off of 10 to get the traffic off the main road to get it to the businesses. And I would hate like heck to see that happen on 332, where it looks like a commercial.
Right. Well, it already is.
In some point.
And
But there's a lot of farmland that's,
well, so right. Well, this area, so this growth controls up to Emerson Road. Because then you go a couple more, and that's, you already see that so 332 in itself, you can't have that level of development. That's why there's a new farm store. There's that new Bobcat dealer that's on the east side. Has the silo out in front, if you've driven by there. And that, they had to build it like that because that's still farm area. You can't have any sort of building going up in there. So that's still controlled in that section, in that part there. So we're focused on the next area of growth where we have permitted growth and we have applications that we're viewing, is really just, this is just that triangle that goes from basically, Heritage Motors, that triangle that goes to Emerson Road, and not even all the way to Emerson Road for this next.
Would you
growth.
excuse me, please?
Yes, sir.
I have to run a church meeting tonight. I'm sorry. I'm continuing to be interested and would like to receive whatever information. And also, you're recording this, I understand. So can someone please send me the site so I can see the rest of the meeting?
Definitely. Yes, sir.
I really apologize, but it's a regular
okay.
Monday.
Yep,
Thank
no
you very
problem. All right, thank you.
The thing about the uptown area, it does have access roads. It has several that go both east, west, and north, south. So you can go around that area on both sides, and you can go perpendicular to that area on both sides. In some areas, there's Airport Road that goes out toward the airport, and I don't know the names of all the roads, but, and there is a very nice town park there that we're now considering how to make it more approachable for walking traffic, because there are plans for apartments and homes to be built in that on the east side of 332, correct? That's the east side. So within walking distance, so, you know, they're in the back of pretty much anyone that works for the town, that uptown area is, that this whole thing is kept in their mind on the appearance and the mobility issues and the capability of people to interact and to have all sorts of available good things like restaurants, you know, a laundromat, a few stores, car washes.
More car washes.
And unfortunately, there's all the car dealers, but that nonetheless, but they'll also, the thing that's really nice is they're all, because there's a bid, they'll all be required to participate in maintaining a presentable look when you enter the town of Canandaigua. And that's important.
Yeah, and the bid also, I mean, we're looking at probably $750,000 to replace all the streetlights up 332. So take those off and put new LED lights on, because if you've driven up there at night, you know that the majority of them don't work because of wiring and other issues going on. So we're gonna be replacing those. And the bid, that Uptown Business District will be, because it's an improvement to their general, you know, the lights are there because you have businesses there that will, and they're paying a rate and they fund that. So the bid will fund those improvements. So the improvements don't come back to every taxpayer of the town, and not even the residents of the town. It's only the businesses within that area, because those improvements will help them. You know, sidewalks, streetlights, snow plowing, you know, all of those things up there help the bid and help those businesses. So any of this growth that we might be putting money into, it's in the bid and it doesn't affect the tax rate of average homeowner within the town. So that really, that bid area is gonna be the big focus, that uptown, and working with the uptown bid, which kind of exists and kind of doesn't, because we created it, but there hasn't been any growth or development within that area yet. So maybe part of this committee could be a push for some of that bid growth for the businesses that are already there. Things that they might need, things that they might want, input that they might have.
When did they talk to each other? Do they talk to each other except when you want these lights?
They, so they don't really, there is no uptown, so they don't get together with like an uptown business meeting. They don't.
Yeah.
They're all kind of their own entity, I'm sure, yeah.
Would that be something that would be beneficial to them and therefore to the town?
It might be, to bring them together and just kind of talk about it and see and have them there. We have tried to target a couple. Other things kept coming up in the way, but trying to target a couple of the businesses within that area to see what they might need or want, or what concerns they have for being viable there. Because it is right now, that's a hard place to, kind of a hard place to do business.
Yeah.
You don't thrive, there are a few that thrive, but there are others that they kind of string along, and some of those plazas that are there and were built, you know, years ago when 332 was redone and all that.
Well, there's a lot of different types of business. It almost, to me, you kind of almost have to do some kind of outreach to them.
Yes.
Rather than try to get them together.
Yeah.
because everybody's busy, you know?
Right,
so.
and that might be part of that might be something the committee just would decide to do, because that whole area is such an important part, is to, you know, have some outreach, have an open house, have something for those businesses. Or just that, get them together and talk to them.
I know you're going somewhere else, but no, in terms of the discussion, but.
Yeah, no, that's wherever you wanna go.
When I think about the, what do you call it, Hearn Park, or whatever,
Blue Heron.
It's a small place.
Mhm.
The way you just said it, seemed like it was big. Maybe I misheard you.
It's,
I mean,
I don't
when
know
I
how
think
many
of it,
it's got a walking path that
Okay,
goes all the way around. It has a, 2 ponds
yeah,
that are part of it. And it's got 1 pavilion, right?
yeah, it
Doesn't
still
it-
seems
does it have a
small. to me.
bathroom?
I don't know, you know,
It
maybe
needs
I'm
a
thinking,
bathroom.
yeah.
I-
Oh, it does have one?
No,
Oh.
it has a porta
Yeah.
potty.
Well,
No,
Mayflower, if they have one.
I
Yeah.
advocated and they put it, you know, I didn't go to the meeting, but I gave them my ideas for what they call pocket parks. And what they are, what pocket parks are small units where people can sit and chat with one another, or they can have a game table. Because there's going to be apartments that have
Yeah,
already
right.
been approved
Yeah.
to be built there. If they ever
If they ever
So
happen.
it's just a matter of what you're gonna concentrate on, which, okay.
But that's one thing, and there's also a small playground, is there? There's plans for a small playground.
I'm not sure.
I
Yeah.
don't know if there are, I haven't been there in a while.
But Blue Heron
Yeah.
can be large, it can be improved, and that's one of the goals.
Yeah, I mean.
'Cause
I
that
can
sits
see
right
this
in the middle of
meeting
this.
Where people would go regularly,
It's a great place to
maybe,
sit
but
and read.
I don't have in my head
Yeah.
what you do.
I think
There's
just
other
golf
buildings
course
gonna
there.
be going up there.
Yeah,
You know, once you make the other, then that becomes a pocket park rather than a park, almost.
Well, I'm an advocate for pocket parks because I like to talk to people
Yeah.
and, you know,
Okay.
and I think other people like to talk to people too. So, you know,
Yeah.
And there are homes in that area
Yeah.
too, or are they just apartments?
current homes,
Current homes are?
There are
they
not-
just- I haven't.
in the
I don't
uptown
go down
area,
that road
right,
Very often.
so in the uptown area, you have. The other side of County Road, you have a few, like, right on the outskirts, you have a couple homes.
Okay,
There are actually a few homes within the business district, but they don't pay a tax in it. So you have Emerson Road has single family homes. And then you come down behind. Behind, I'm drawing a blank on the fire, I don't think this fire hall go all the way, but you come down behind there. And you have some apartments in that area, and then there are a few homes on the edge.
okay.
But that area itself, there isn't very much you have, let me back up a little bit. You do have Liberty Apartments, you have Trolley Station Apartments. Liberty is veteran. Trolley is anybody. And then you have a few other,
Candlewood is on the other side.
Candlewood's on the other side, but you have a few apartment complexes there for various needs. And this, providing connectivity for the veteran apartments is important because they're on the kind of the edge of the uptown area.
Okay, so are they close enough to Blue Heron Park
Oh,
to
yes.
take advantage of
Yes.
the
And
park
they do,
itself?
and they do,
That's
yeah.
Yep.
good, okay.
So I mean, that whole area within the next little bit could, I know we keep saying, because you never know, and the economy and interest rates and everything will dictate when, but if they move forward with what they've discussed, that whole area could blossom. And then this area, the committee, one of the goals is that focusing in on that area. So that's the big thing. Anybody else, questions, comments? Kim, you have anything?
Yeah, is there a way that we could figure out how to reach a wider demographic? Because we have a lot of seniors that we communicate with, but not as many shift
Yeah.
down.
And that is part of the goals are ways to support communication efforts in informing and educating town residents. And as a town, that would be the opportunity to get those folks.
I'm not sure how to do
So,
it.
right, Sue and I have talked about, do we make an Instagram
Yeah.
page for the town? Do we have town Instagram? Because that's what younger kids are on. I thought about, maybe not anymore. I had joked, and I'm still gonna go out and do it, unless it's totally banned. But with all the things about it, I'm like, I don't know if I wanna put myself out there, but make some TikTok videos showing people stuff around the town.
Yep.
Yeah.
short little video clips. You can do those and put them anywhere.
Yeah.
But that's what, right now, that's where that younger group of kids gets all their stuff.
They're all putting it on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I was gonna
So-
say, videos are a great.
You know, in just those 2 to 3 minute video clips, because that's the way people want their information now. You know, they would watch an hour-long hours of videos about the town if they were 2 minutes apiece. And, you know, and there were, but if it was a 1 hour video, nobody would watch it.
Nobody watch it, yeah.
But they would sit there,
Attention spans are very.
yeah, they would sit there and be like, oh, I've just been watching these videos for the last half an hour. But we've been looking at that, and that's something, definitely something that this committee could do. Is look at, okay, how do we reach these? How do we reach these kids? How do we get out there? How do we get the, you know, the 30s, the college age high school graduates and those who are moving back in and who are coming here and maybe they're, you know, in their late 20s, early 30s, maybe have a kid or two, and they're just starting out. And they want to know what's going on.
I think,
Young,
I
young
think you're more
families.
likely to reach the younger set today. Because as you mentioned, YouTube, TikTok, and this sort of thing. What, I think the ones that are harder to reach today, I think are the older people.
I
because
agree,
They don't have the computer skills to be able to, and they're really not anxious to try and figure out all this computer stuff either. So it's a real challenge to the older generation to get this information. And so for that type of thing, you almost have to have mailings in order to reach you. Because if it comes to the mailbox, it's something addressed to them besides a bill, and they might open it.
Well, this,
You have different types of
Yeah.
communication for your different groups.
and then is this, it could be a charge of this committee to say, listen, we want the town to have a quarterly newsletter and budget for it. And
I've
then we,
advocated
is
for
the-
years that one go out with the water bill.
Yeah.
And Farmington does a great job with theirs.
Yeah.
Goes out with every water bill.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
What is the population of the town?
11,500, 12,000.
And for only 2,000 to be on the newsletter list.
Yes.
And more than,
That's,
more
wow,
than half are 60 plus.
okay.
Yeah,
Because you have the, I know in the newsletter all the time and out, they have the things at Outhouse Park for seniors. I have no idea how well they're attended.
They're not.
They're
I
not,
mean,
okay.
yeah,
I've
I just
never
put
been
something
to
on the sign for you today.
What?
I just put something on the sign for you today.
Did you?
Wow.
Yeah.
But that one,
Okay,
we started that in 2015
okay,
and it hasn't expanded. I mean, it has expanded, but old people die, so
Yeah.
you know, it hasn't expanded. But it's,
I know that the last at least 15 years, this has been a major discussion in the office for aging. I know that they have tried to set up different ways to communicate with the elderly. And so they have an experience, at least what they've tried. Or not, all you need is representative, who knows something about it. And to discuss that, if you want them to be part of our mailing list or anything like that. I've noticed recently what they've gone to is, and I don't know whether I like it, is they have an automatic phone system now, like I know what they're, you know, like might have a senior moment. There's some, I just got a phone call today, you know, you're saying, oh, and because I do Meals on Wheels, so I'm thinking they're gonna try to get me to replace somebody. So they called me. So I answered the thing, and just there was a gathering at such and such a place, so you're will be willing to get there to fill in the blank. It's not a solicitation, it is information.
but that's through the Office of the Aging.
Yes,
Yeah.
my point is that if you're talking about duplicating the exact same thing, communication wise, it's still their list. There's still a
Exactly.
methodology.
exactly.
Except the Office of the Aging is the entire Ontario.
Right. And we could pare that down
Yeah.
to where, to the town, but
Just a sort.
they might have ideas.
But you consider
That's my
that
point.
approximately 30% of the town is a consistent senior citizens. And it's interesting that they are not reached. And I mean, many of them don't want to be reached. I understand that, but many of them do want to be reached and,
Do you have anecdotal or do you, why are you saying, how can you say
I know that from people I know.
that?
I'm old and I know a lot of old people. A lot of old people. But, you know, they're just happy in their own little world, right? And
And do
some,
they have computers?
a lot of them do not have computers
Okay.
and
Do
do
they
not
have-
know how to.
Do they have cell phones or do they have landlines?
No. Some of them have the
Or
flip
both.
phones.
Flip phones, okay.
Nothing wrong with flip phone.
Yep.
Works.
So, you know, we're doing, and even the sheriff's office has this program called SALT, which stands for seniors, what, so,
No, I was
Law
on it
enforcement.
for, I was on it for 4 years.
but anyway, we have a suggestion in here to have a program on that, because it's for seniors. And, they, every month or so, they have a program on something that, would benefit seniors for, like, one is the one that I brought up to the sheriff about the Ring doorbell, which I said, I don't wanna have to learn another computerized
We'll
thing.
teach you.
And that's exactly what he said. But, you know.
What did he say?
We'll
yeah,
teach you.
they'll teach
Oh.
us.
Well, and I also wonder how many people in the town are renters, because they wouldn't get hit with the water bill. and so
Right.
they wouldn't
We
be
do-
reached by that. I'm not sure. I
We
don't
have
really
a
know.
significant number,
They may be the number.
but yeah, I mean, if you take the city's over half and more, a lot more than half. I would, you know, aside from our apartments, I think it would hit a decent majority, but then you gotta figure out, okay, they're not gonna get that, how do we get this out?
Right.
Well, it'd be interesting to know how many water bills go out.
Mhm.
If we knew that, we would know whether
Right.
2,000 is a good representative number of contacts.
So since we are up on our hour, I hope this gives you kind of an idea of what the committee would do, kind of the scope and the focus. And then you can make the decision on whether or not you want to, you know, if it's something that you're interested in, you know, definitely, because we can use the input, we can use the ideas, we can use the, excuse me, you know, the perspective and point of view and experience and all of that. And if you can, you know, really, it's at a minimum, it's a commitment to a monthly meeting. But it could end up being more than that, depending on how deep you want to be in it and how much you want to, you know, jump and take it, because it'll be really whatever direction the committee goes is the direction the committee's gonna go within these charges.
Now, all the people that were in the email that didn't come today, are they?
Kick them off.
He's still waiting for him to come.
I'm waiting for it to come in. I put out, we need
Come in now.
all these chairs
Are you
we
still
put
gonna-
out.
That's true.
Are you still gonna reach out to them to see if any of them
Yeah.
are?
We can reach out to them. We can share the
Yes,
link.
We're gonna get the minutes, so we'll
Okay.
get the same presentation, for lack of a better word,
Uh-huh.
and then I think what we're, you know, kind of saying is everybody digest the information and, you know, I don't know what Jared's timeframe is, but give us a commitment.
Yep.
And then we move forward to the next phase.
When do you want to be up and running?
If we're May, it would be June. My guess would be mid-June. Which, I mean, but then, again, so here, the way I think of that is, so there's a board meeting May 20th. Then on June 24th, I believe.
In July.
Yeah, so maybe it's July, because we'd have a meeting in June. And then you'd have to have a chair and the committee appointed by the town board at the July meeting. And then it would be up and running then. So I mean, that, you know, we'd still meet, I anticipate an informal meeting like this in June. Maybe we can get a few more people, you know, keep it to that hour. And, you know, that seems to be a good, you know, not too much time, you're still fresh and it's not dragging on. And have that, shoot for another one in June. Have some more discussions or questions, or you've had time to digest. You might have thought about things, maybe drag along a friend or something, who knows? And then, yeah, July. at the July town board meeting, get everything approved by resolution, and then the committee's created, and then can start acting and advising the board. And by then, that gives enough time to sort through all the pages and scrounge up some budget money too, so Karen can start spending her money on donuts and coffee and all that stuff.
Always ask for a budget.
So the members are, the prospective members will be basically interviewed by the board, is that?
So let's say we have 10 people who are interested.
Mhm.
We'll pull a couple board members in and it'll be just open to some discussion. If it's just with a couple board members, then you don't have to have a formal meeting to do it. But just kind of talk and see and kind of get the
Kinda
flavor,
like this.
kind of like this, and kind of see where you are. And then the board would ultimately make that decision. You know, I don't know if we'll end up at that point. Some of you might say, like you might say, well, Richard's on the committee. I am a supporter. And if there are any subcommittees, I'll help, you know, if there are any subcommittees, then maybe I'll get involved with doing some of these other projects, but I don't care that I'm I'm a voting member of the committee.
Yeah, that's what happened with the cemetery committee with
Yeah,
us.
yeah. So,
And your sense is that it would go down the goals and activities, sort of that'd be the challenge once you start moving.
that's gonna be the challenge, to take this list, and this is a list that
Be cha-ching,
that
cha-ching.
we've kind of brainstormed, the three of
Okay,
us.
I was wondering about that.
It's pulled from discussions that we've had discussions with the board, some of the things that the previous committee had done that we want to keep. And then, yeah, it would be, okay, this looks, here's something that, let's focus on this for a minute. Oh, let's set up let's set up an open house at the airport. Nobody knows what happens at the airport. Nobody knows what goes on there. Or let's do a park, so, maybe have a park tour. See the improvements. We're gonna be putting in $1.5 million, hopefully, to Ononda to improve access to the top, because we want to really improve the top in that upper area. That cabin should be going over there, have access so anybody can get up there and have a spot to walk to move around and to view the whole lake and everything down below. So something like that, celebrating. And it kept coming back over and over again in some of the earlier meetings we had months ago when we were transitioning, celebrating our successes, telling our story, focusing on those good things, which is another part of this.
It's like the Motion Junction. Are you all familiar with the Motion Junction park?
I've never
Outhouse
been.
Park.
I haven't been over
Oh,
there, I've heard about
You
it.
guys,
Yeah.
you live near there. I mean, whoever's been developing that,
Well,
that's
that,
just
I mean,
fantastic.
that is the only park like that in this country.
You know, I
The
mean,
only fully accessible to to every age and every type of disability. And when is the celebration?
June 5th. Fifth,
Fifth
maybe.
is when another grand opening, but
Definitely
thing
send
that-
me something for the newsletter.
the thing that's irritating is somebody complained on Facebook that some kid had vomited on one of the
oh, no,
rides and nobody cleaned it up. And so that's the type of thing that
that's.
doesn't help the town,
Right.
Here we have this wonderful,
Oh,
wonderful
yeah.
park.
Whole thing.
And
So celebrating those successes.
we need to
So-
celebrate the
Yeah,
success,
getting
not
people to watch
complain
it.
about it.
You know, it's communication.
Yeah, so as we go through, so we can get people out of here, let's, I mean, do you think a week's long enough to think about it and see if you're interested in continuing through?
Yeah.
So let Sue know.
You're interested.
I'll be reaching
I
out to
am
Maggie anyway.
Yeah, Sue will be reaching
I
out.
didn't think about it.
She'll be following up. Yeah, so just shoot her an email, say, I'm interested in continuing. And then that's awesome. It's exciting to have this. And again, it's the ground floor. So it's all, it is what, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out along the way and we'll find our niche and then we'll go.
It's really an opportunity, folks, because, here I think we all agree we have a wonderful town we live in. And we need to treasure it and we need to let other people know that we value it and they should value it too. And I would love to work with all of you.
Yeah.
You guys' enthusiasm is really fantastic.
The hard part is the young families, they get so busy with their kids.
How do you do, and I went through that, I grew up in the town, my dad was a former supervisor, I felt like I knew everything that was going on, but I didn't. And then it wasn't until you get to that certain point, because you're chasing your life around,
Yeah.
you're chasing your kids around,
Yeah.
Well,
so
Exactly.
But sharing an event at a park, you'll get those.
you'll get some of those
Yeah,
people who might
yeah.
say, hey, maybe I could do this,
so
so.
the thing too is to try and attract more people that even though they may not be as a voting member, but
Right.
we need some people. Because one thing that Don and I noticed, we got very involved in the town we were in before, back in Jersey. You join another committee, it seems that the trend is happening again to us up here.
Once they get.
Once we got you.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
Yeah.
it's
Sorry, guys.
it's the same group of people though, that are leading the charge on all the different committees.
This is not the same group of people.
No, it isn't.
No,
but-
it's-
This is not, this is wonderful.
And that's
Yeah,
why-
I'm
which
so
is
excited.
encouraging.
I'm excited to see 4 new people, 5, 6 new people we have.
So,
And Sue.
yeah, and that's the exciting part about it, and that's the refresh and new energy part.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, thank you, everybody, for coming, and
Thank you, and I'll be in touch.
reach out to Sue, and then she'll do another. Since it's still informal, she'll do another reach out to see if there's any time or what works best, or to pick another time for June. And then we'll go from there.
Hey,
Plus, one last